And it was just right then and there. I was like, you know what, that's ridiculous. We can't have people waiting 6 months with their lives on hold just waiting on the judge to do her job.
Welcome everybody to Our Nevada Judges, and we are interviewing candidates again because sometimes that's what we do. And today we have Jessica Goodey, right? Did I pronounce that right?
That is right.
Oh, good. Just in case I ever have to appear before you.
Oh, goody.
Oh, goody.
Sorry. So
You would be surprised at the number of times I've heard that. That and goody two-shoes. So,
Oh, okay, cool.
And everyone who ever asks me that, they're like, I bet you hear that a lot. And I was like, I do, especially growing up. I heard that a lot.
And you are running for judge in the Justice Court Department 6?
Las Vegas Justice Court, Department 6.
Okay. Amy, you want to start it off?
Okay, sure thing. Well, you didn't introduce us.
Well, they know us.
Okay, I'm just,
I can introduce you. We have Amy, we
right?
have John.
Is Amy. Y'all remember Amy, right? She's been here a couple times, so.
Okay, anyway, moving on. Hi, Jessica. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm super happy to be here.
Great.
We'll talk to anyone who will listen.
So, you are a lawyer. How many years have you been practicing?
I've been practicing for almost 12 years now.
What made you decide to run for judge? Why? Why would you want to be a judge? Why would you want that responsibility of affecting people's lives?
So I thought you were going to ask me why I wanted to be an attorney, and I don't know the answer to that. The reason why I decided to run for judge, I actually did a trial in this department back in August of 2020. And it was about a 3-hour trial, just a simple breach of contract action. The plaintiff testified, the defendant testified. And the judge who was sitting at the time told us she would get a decision shortly. Well, 1 week turns into 2 weeks, which turned into a month, which turned into 6 months. And it was 6 months of me calling every week and saying, hey, any update? Hey, any update? The judge is working on it. The judge is working on it. The judge is working on it. And it was just right then and there. I was like, you know what? That's ridiculous. We can't have people waiting 6 months with their lives on hold just waiting on the judge to do her job. And so I decided to run. I don't entirely think that I knew what I was getting myself into. It's been an incredible experience. It really has. It's a little crazy from time to time, but it's been fun. As to why I want to actually be a judge, I serve as a fill-in judge right now in a couple of different courts, and so I have seen kind of the behind-the-scenes things. But one of my favorite things about being an attorney, and it sounds super cheesy, and I know it does, and you're going to hopefully relate to this, but my best days are when I can help people, right? Like, that's the best feeling. No one ever comes into my office and is like, Jessica, I had the best day ever. I can't wait to tell you about it. Right? Nobody ever comes into your office and says that.
If they're seeing me, they're having the worst day they ever had.
Exactly. So something has went terribly wrong in their life that they need to come and see me. Same thing is with our court system, right? Nobody is coming into court because something really positive has happened in their life. The only exception to that is adoption court, which is...
I was just going to say that. Adoption is happy law.
That is probably my happiest day practicing law ever. Is I helped with an adoption. It was amazing. Different subject. But so I'm in a position now where I own my own law firm. I'm a solo practitioner. And so there's only a certain number of clients that I can take on and only a certain number of people that I can help in that position. And so I'm ready to take that to the next step and help more people and take what is necessarily a negative experience and try to make it as positive as possible. I think people are scared to go walk into our courtrooms because they don't know what's going to happen. They are nervous, they are scared, and they just don't know what to do. And so from a judge's position, if I can make that better in some way, I think that's my calling.
What kind of a practice do you have? Tell me about it.
So I have, for the last 9 years, I've owned my own practice. I do personal injury, medical malpractice, and a little bit of business. And give or take here and there, things clients need, client calls with an issue. Either I can help them or I can send them out to somebody else. But those are my primary practice areas.
One of the things that I've heard a lot from attorneys is something that irritates the heck out of them is going before a judge who's not prepared, who has not read the documents, or do you find that to be true as well?
You see Amy and I both smiling right here. We're like, that never happens. Unfortunately, it does happen sometimes, and it's frustrating, right? Because the attorneys are prepared, and in civil law specifically, and this department is a civil law department, the attorneys prepare briefs, written motions, written documents to the court that sets forth the issues of the case or whatever that we need the judge to decide. So the judge has that beforehand and should have at least some sort of idea of what's going on. And then the attorneys are prepared to come in and answer any questions the judge may have. And so when the judge isn't prepared, it's very frustrating. And then that leads to one of two things: incorrect rulings or long delays in getting an order because the judge wasn't prepared beforehand.
Do you think that is due to the current caseload, or is it, who knows?
I think it can depend. That probably depends upon the judge.
Right.
I know our courts are overloaded, and there's a huge backlog right now from the pandemic, and there's just no denying that. The only way, though, we're going to be able to fix that is we just have to start making decisions, and we have to start clearing these cases out. And if that means you got to work a little bit of longer hours and even some weekend hours, sometimes that's what we have to do. It's what I do as an attorney. It's what I do as a business owner. Sometimes you just got to put in a little bit longer hours to get the work done that needs to be done.
Have you said that you have served in different departments as it would be a pro tem?
Right. So I have been appointed as a Las Vegas, make sure I get the titles right, Las Vegas Municipal Court alternate judge.
Okay.
Las Vegas Justice Court Justice Pro Tem, and then a Las Vegas Justice Court small claims hearing master. And so I've been appointed in all of those. So in addition to running my practice, if a judge is out or they need somebody to fill in small claims or something like that, they call me, I come in and serve for that day.
Have you been in the department that you're running for?
I have not. So after I decided to run, there's a rule in the courts that basically say if you have announced your intention to run, you can't serve in that court while the election is pending. And I think the reason for that is they don't want it to look like the county is playing favorites. So I understand. So the ability to serve in the justice court has been lessened since I announced my intent to run, but I still regularly serve in the municipal court.
As an attorney, what has inspired you? What has made you said you've been an attorney now for 12 years. I've been in some jobs that if I had to stay there 12 years, I'd be locked up or something. So what has other than, the education and the money invested and all that stuff,
Sure.
but what is it that keeps you in law?
I love it. I actually really do love it. And again, it's because I get the opportunity to help people through some of the worst things in their life. And a lot of my cases, most civil cases settle outside of court, and most of my cases tend to be confidential. And there are things in attorney-client privilege I have to be mindful of. But I have a couple of cases where, the person came to me, they were severely injured either as a result of a car crash or a slip and fall or something else, and medical malpractice even. And I was able to get them, they were disabled for the rest of their lives, and they weren't able to take care of their children. They weren't able to get the medical care they need. They weren't able to pay their bills and their rent and things like that. And through my work, I was able to get them money to be able to do that stuff. And those are the days that you just like, okay, like this family is better and they're going to be okay because of the work that I did. And that's what keeps me going.
So the other candidates that are running, they're lawyers as well.
Yes.
What do you feel makes you uniquely qualified as compared to the other candidates for this department?
So for this department specifically is a civil law department. And the difference between, and I know that you know, I'm not sure if you do, so I apologize.
No, that's fine. I know nothing.
I don't know anything either.
I highly doubt that for both of you. So criminal law deals with, that's all the cop shows and things we see on TV, and we have to prove by, beyond a reasonable doubt and all of those types of things. has its own set of rules, its set of laws, its way of practice. Civil law is completely different. We don't see a lot of those types of cases on TV, but those are the cases where people are suing each other for money. And so in this case, it's people suing each other for money up to $15,000, at least currently. And so this is breaches of contract, minor car accident cases, your neighbor's tree falls into your yard and causes some damage to the brick wall, those types of things. So from my experience, I've had 12 years of experience handling those types of cases. And I think it's really important our judges have significant experience handling the types of cases that they'll be deciding. We don't want our judges learning it all on the job. There's obviously learning that goes on, but they need to have a base foundation. And so I have that. That's what I've spent my entire career doing. And then take in addition to that, the last 3 years when I've been serving as the fill-in judge and a court-appointed arbitrator. I forgot that. So I've been deciding these cases already as a job. So I've seen the back sides of it, and I can see where we can improve to make our courts better.
That's a good point that I was about to ask anyway. What can we do to make the courts better? And I guess what I'm saying is there is a lot of plea agreements. What is your stand on that? I mean, do you think, okay, so look, you're telling your client, and I'm being a little bit overkill here, but you're telling your client, okay, look, they've offered to, give you 2 years in jail and 5 years in probation, if you take this deal for a lesser charge. But if we go to court, you could end up spending 25 years in prison or something like that. It is that. I guess the question I'm asking is, if you felt that your client was innocent, or would you encourage them to take that kind of deal, or would you tell them, no, let's go to court, let's fight this, because I believe, I don't even know if that's an appropriate question to ask.
It is. So I can't speak to what I would do as a judge, because we have rules that say,
No, I'm asking as an attorney.
So as an attorney, I don't practice criminal law, but I do the other side of it, where instead of dealing with time in jail, we're dealing with how much is your case worth.
Okay.
And so we have cases, 99% of our cases go to what we call a settlement conference or a mediation before we go to trial. And there's always negotiations. The average time on my cases right now is about 3.5 years. That's trending upwards because of the pandemic.
Wait. 3.5 years?
3.5 years to get to a trial.
That's unacceptable.
I don't disagree. That's why I'm running. But
we need to talk. Sorry.
No, but that's you're right. That's exactly right. So that's how we get our courts better, is to deal with that timeline and how long it takes to get to trial, and what our judges can do to help with that. To answer your question, though, do I advise my client to take it or not take it? And so I don't deal with whether my client's innocent or not. It's, do I think that my client was really hurt?
That was kind of a bad question, but
no, there's no bad questions. If my client was really hurt, was it the other person's fault, and how significantly they were hurt? And so at some point, I can say, hey, client, I think your case is worth $100,000. Defense counsel is offering $50,000 or $70,000. We have the discussion of, look, you can take the $70,000 now, this is what it will mean to you, or we can take this to trial. I'm a trial attorney. I love being in trial. I just got back from a 3-day conference working on my trial skills. And so if my client says, no, I don't want to take it, let's go to trial. Let's go have some fun. Okay. There's a risk for it, though, and it's important that the attorney tells the client the risk of it. We could go to trial and we could get $100,000, but we could get $0. And it's making sure my client's advised of all of those risks and benefits, and I give them my recommendation based off of my experience and my thoughts and feelings about it. And then the client ultimately gets to make the decision, and I live with that decision. And client wants to take a trial, let's take it to trial. Even if I say, I think that it's better to settle in this case, client says I want to take it to trial. All right, let's do this.
Okay.
That's what I do. That's my job.
That answered my question. Thank you.
Good.
Is there anything else that you want the voters to know?
All kinds of things.
Well, this is your chance.
Yes.
Right? So this is my chance. So you asked, and so I'll expand on this a little bit, is how do we make our courts better? And we have to deal with the backlog. And one of the things that I've committed to doing is to issuing any decisions that come before me within 2 weeks of the hearing, because I don't want anybody waiting on me to do my job so that their case can move along, they can get some closure, they can put this part of their life behind them. It's something I do right now as an attorney. It's something that I do as a judge, and so when I serve as a fill-in, so there's no reason I can't continue that into the future. Because that's
Assuming that you have all the information that you need to make the decision.
correct. And
Okay.
so if I take a decision under advisement, so there's been a hearing in front of me, all the parties have been heard, I've got the evidence, I have all of the issues. If I'm not able to rule immediately from the bench, I need to do some additional research or
Right.
something, I will do that and get that decision within 2 weeks. I don't want people waiting a month or 6 months to get an order. And then the other thing is, I heard you speaking with another candidate. Everybody vote. It is so important. We call Justice Court the People's Court, because if you are likely to come into contact with an elected official, it's going to be your Justice Court judge. That's just who it's going to be. And the difficulty and what I'm finding on the campaign trail is we never know who our judges are. We don't know who to vote for. And so I'm so appreciative of opportunities like this, so I can tell you a little bit about who I am and what I do and why I am qualified. And what I would encourage all of you to do that's watching this, if you have any questions about who I am or what I do or why you should vote for me, please find me on social media, reach out to me, email, call, social media, whatever it is, reach out, because I am available to you. So I want educated voters. I would love to have everybody's vote, but I would really feel better if you know who you're voting for and you're comfortable with that vote. So please reach out for me.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ms. Goodey,
Yes.
for sharing your story with us. I can't stress enough, you guys, the reason that we do this is so that you know who's running. We're not telling you who to vote for. We're just telling you, here are your candidates. You make the decision. But at least take the few minutes that it takes to get down that ballot and vote for everybody on there. And it doesn't take that much time to find out who the candidates are. And I mean, if I can do it, you got it whipped.
I'm going to cut in and actually say,
Yes, please.
I am telling you who to vote for. Vote for Jessica Goodey. And what I tell everybody is, if you're like me and you want the courts to get better, get Goodey.
I like it.
I love that.